On April 1, 1976, in a small garage in California, three young men started a company that would change the world. Their names? Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne. The company? Apple. Wozniak built the computer, Jobs shared the vision with the world, and Wayne sold his shares and left after just 10 days. His 10% stake would be worth billions today. That tiny beginning led to the iPhone, the MacBook, and the Apple world we live in now.
On April 2, 1982, Argentina invaded the Falkland Islands. The UK had claimed these islands as their territory, and Argentina launched a military operation to reclaim them. Argentina's forces quickly took control of the capital, Port Stanley, aiming to remove British military presence. But the UK decided to respond with military action, sending warships and aircraft to reclaim the islands. The UK Navy and Air Force defended against Argentine attacks and launched counteroffensives to retake the islands. On June 14, 1982, after 6 weeks of fierce fighting, the UK regained control, and Argentina surrendered. This war permanently changed the relationship between the two nations, and the Falklands remain a British territory.
On April 3, 1948, a tragedy like a civil war began on Jeju Island. Armed groups opposing the establishment of a separate South Korean government rose in rebellion. The government responded by sending in troops and police. As a result, around 30,000 civilians in Jeju were massacred. But what came after was even more devastating. Survivors were labeled communists and forced into silence. Villages were burned, and families were torn apart. For decades, April 3 was a forbidden topic in Korea. Jeju's communities were shattered, and deep mistrust toward the state took root.
April 4, 1968, Memphis, Tennessee. Martin Luther King Jr., the symbol of the civil rights movement, is assassinated on the balcony of the Loren Motel. He fought racism with nonviolence and inspired the world with his "I Have a Dream" speech. That day, he was there to support a strike by black sanitation workers, but a gunshot ended his life at just 39 years old. Riots and protests erupted across the U.S., marking a turning point in the fight for equality. King is gone, but his dream still lives on.
April 5, 1614, Virginia, North America. Pocahontas, daughter of a native chief, marries English settler John Rolfe. But this wasn't just a love story. Their marriage was a political alliance meant to bring peace between colonists and the Powhatan tribe. Pocahontas converted to Christianity and took the name Rebecca. She traveled to England with Rolfe and was presented as a civilized native to English society. But just a year later, she died at around age 21. With her death, peace unraveled, and war returned. Years later, Disney told her story as a romantic fairy tale. But the real history was far more complex. April 6, 1896, Athens, Greece. The Olympics returned after disappearing for about 1,500 years. This was the very first modern Olympic Games. A French educator, Pierre de Coubertin, wanted to revive the sports spirit of ancient Greece. So he founded the International Olympic Committee, the IOC, and held the first games in the birthplace of the Olympics, Athens. 13 countries, 241 male athletes, ran, jumped, and competed, dreaming of peace through sports. A new event made its debut at these games. The marathon. Inspired by the legendary messenger Pheidippides. And the first marathon winner? It was Spiridon Lewis from Greece. Back then, there were no gold medals. Winners received a silver medal and an olive wreath.